Howdy, howdy, and welcome to the Tea Weasel, where we pair teas with movies. Today, we'll be looking at...
Alright guys, I figured it out. Our donut hole actually has a little hole inside of a donut hole that can be filled with another little donut.
What are you talking about?
I figured out who the murderer is, guys.
What murder are you talking about? You're here for my wedding. There's no murder.
Yeah, but where's your husband?
At work.
Oh. I guess that makes sense.
Hey Taylor, what was that? No. You told me it was a funeral. I let you go for this. What do you mean I'm not the boss of you? That's the other way around. I don't care. We lost time shooting. Just play an actual clip from the movie, thank you.
I spoke in the car about the hole at the center of this donut. And what you and Harlan did that fateful night seems at first glance to fill that hole perfectly. A donut hole in a donut's hole. But we must look a little closer.
That's right, you guessed it. It is Knives Out. I cannot tell you how much I love this movie. It is fantastic. 5 out of 5, 12 out of 11, amazing. For this pairing, we're actually doing something a little different. But rather than make a tea, we're gonna go buy a tea. And not just any tea, but the best sweet tea there is. And that can be found in Kansas.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
You are not in Kansas anymore.
We can make that joke, we're from there. And for those lucky souls that don't live in Kansas, we'll also be showing you how to make a sweet tea. But the place we'll be going is called McAllister's, who literally have an award-winning tea. The sweet tea there is to die for. That might be a little bit distasteful because of this movie. Oh. But before we talk about the movie, let's talk about the tea.
Here I have a pitcher filled up to 3 liters of water with a bunch of bags in it that I forgot to record. I typically go off of a bag for every 200 to 250 mLs of water. What you're going to do is take 1 cup of your tea mixture, add it to a pan, and then add 1 cup of white sugar. Give that a nice little mixy mix like such. Make sure it's all nice and blended in with no clumpy bits throughout it. What you're going to do is put that to a boil. What we're trying to do is make a simple syrup out of the tea and the sugar. You'll know when it's done when it looks like this. See how when you drag it across, it kind of takes a second for it to go back there? Then add it to your pitcher, and you're going to mix it all in together. Once it's nice and incorporated, what you can do if you want to be bougie is pour it into an ice cube tray. This is so when the ice melts, it doesn't become watered down, that you have the full and rich flavor still. Just be very careful when you do it, because it's a big pitcher, and you're anxious, and you almost made a huge mess. This is probably some of the best sweet tea I've made in a long time. It was sweet, but not so sweet. Just by looking at it, I got diabetes. Had a nice, sweet, and rich aftertaste to it.
The movie was written and directed by Rian Johnson. It's the same guy who made the best of the sequel Star Wars films, Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And if you don't think that's the best of the sequels, then fight me in the comments. There's this really awesome tech video that went through like all of the amazing attention to detail green screen stuff he did that I will link in the saucer section, but it just goes to show his love for the craft. But at this point, make sure your tea is in a spoiler-proof cup, because I'm about to talk about this movie. This is a classic whodunit with a beloved father, or at least a beloved patient, you know? When out of nowhere, the world's greatest detective, 0011 Spices and Herbs, Bennett Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, comes to solve the mystery, packaged with a bunch of money and a news clipping told him to. Since he's only the world's greatest private investigator, he has to sit quietly in the background as the detectives question the family members about a potential murder. And then, with a flip of a coin, we find out who really killed him, and it goes from a whodunit to how is Marta going to get away with it. And then you get introduced to Chris Evans' character, and oh my gosh, I love him as Captain America, but give him more villain roles. Human Torch, good.
Oh, you're hot. Why, thank you. So are you.
Captain America. Fantastic.
I could do this all day.
But oh boy, him as a villain, I love it. I want to see more of it. This movie has nothing but like A-list actors in it, and everyone brought their A-plus game. The cinematography's fantastic. The dialogue is amazing. That and the little chair surrounded by all the knives. Hey Charles, throw up a photo? Seriously? You're gonna make me think of Suicide Squad? Throw up the actual photo of a chair. Thank you. There's a lot of great things about this movie. Every shot seems to actually have a purpose to drive the plot forward, and it's not just about filler. There's no great action scene. There is one kind of fast car chase, which was a lot of fun, but it was mostly just a lot of suspense leading up to figuring out how Marta was gonna get away with it. Only to find out she was innocent all the time. Or as Bennett Blanc said,
Because you are a good nurse.
no, she's not. He should have died of a drug overdose because someone switched the vials. Sorry, you verify things a bunch. I am glad she didn't, otherwise the movie wouldn't have happened. I really liked how the dad was a famous author, and one of the detectives working his case was the biggest fan. And at every moment he would geek out about a small detail about the plot or the mansion. And as a nerd with a bunch of fandoms, I appreciate that. I see him. Bravo. Glass Onion just dropped on Netflix. I was really hoping to actually get this done beforehand, but because Tag has a crazy work schedule and I need him here to record, I wasn't able to film this. But I did see it yesterday, and oh my gosh, Glass Onion is fantastic. Expect something for that within the future or so. And until next tea time, watch a movie and have a relaxing cup of tea. Cheers.